Hey folks, Dan from Precision Mobile Auto Detailing here. Wanted to show you today how I wash vehicles. This method is really, I do this mostly during the summer months. It works great for the most part, especially for a lot of my regular customers. Definitely my weeklies and bi-weekly customers where I see their vehicles every week or every other week. And occasionally some of my monthly customers. It's always kind of something where I have to make that determination once I see the vehicle, because this only works on lightly soiled vehicles. If you've got heavy amounts of dirt on your vehicle, or it's a truck and it's been you basically been off-roading with it and there's mud caked all along the bottom edge of it, and that you're going to have to do something a little more aggressive as far as washing. You're not going to be able to use this method because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to minimize what happens from washing and drying your vehicle, is because traditional methods are so ineffective and it's not what you need. You need more than what those ways can provide for you. And what's happening is because of improper washing and drying techniques, and partly because of the soap solution, and that it's not lubricated enough. So what ends up happening is you're dragging a towel across your paint and you're scratching it. And if you looked at any of my previous videos where I've shown the difference between a polished section of a car and an unpolished section, you're going to see that radiating pattern of swirl marks and spider webbing, if you want to call it that. And that's from improper washing and drying. That's basically from sitting here doing this. It's very small microfine scratches in the paint caused by dirt on your towel, even on your drying towel, because you didn't properly get the vehicle washed down the right way. Or there was still some dirt embedded in here. That's another reason why you always want to take the opportunity at least once, maybe twice a year, to do a clay bar on your vehicle to get rid of those surface contaminants that are stuck to the paint that washing is not going to remove. So I'll jump right in here and get started and show you how we do this. So what you're going to do is you need to find a rinseless, washless product. There's tons of them on the market. They all vary in price. My favorite, which I've been using for years, even before I started detailing, is Optimum No Rinse. It's blue. Comes in this is a 32-ounce bottle. It comes in a gallon, which is what I always purchase because I go through a lot of it. They also have a smaller 16-ounce bottle. And they also have, and that's just a straight up solution. And there's no foaming agent in it, so it's not going to foam up. You're not going to have tons of foam sitting on the ground, so you can do this stuff in your garage. So if you've got a nice garage with a finished floor, it's perfect. They also carry, this is Optimum No Rinse Wash and Wax. This has a carnauba wax in it. I use both these products. I obviously use the blue one a whole lot more, and but they're both great products. If you find somebody that, all you got to do is just Google it, as you'll find somebody that has it, and if they got one, they got both most of the time. And then there's a local company to me, a little more local to me, is actually in Pennsylvania, Rich from Greenway Car Care Products. He makes a product called Minimal, which is basically the same thing as O&R. I use both products. They both work great. I switch back and forth all the time. I love his stuff. So just a couple different options there. And like I said, there's a whole ton more out there. If you do any kind of searching around on the internet, you will find them. And there's just tons of variety. But as far as what I use, I love the O&R and I love the Minimals, so I use both of them. And depending on, it doesn't even depend on the situation. They're both great products. They both work equally well. So, but what you're going to do then is you're going to get yourself a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket or so, and fill it with 2 gallons of water. Now I use distilled water, and that's what I recommend you use. What will end up happening is if you put 2 gallons of water in a bucket and you put some O&R in there and you let it sit for like a day or so, don't put any, and you don't put anything else in there, you just leave it alone, let it sit. What it's going to do is it's going to start pulling all the minerals and all the little deposits of stuff that's in regular tap water, and it's going to pull it out, and you're going to find it at the bottom of your bucket. Now what that's also going to do is it's going to dilute the effects of O&R now when you go to use it on your vehicle. So obviously distilled water is the choice. Distilled water is perfect. If anybody knows about distilled water, it is pure water. There's nothing in it. It's distilled. It gets boiled, evaporated, and then goes through a condenser and it comes out as pure water with nothing in it. So what we do is we fill that 2-gallon bucket, and here's mine. And obviously this doesn't have 2 gallons of water in anymore, but it's got my towels soaking in it. So they're soaking up the solution, soaking up the water. And what I'll do is I'll wring it out a little bit before I go to use it, because I don't want it dripping like crazy down the side of the panel. We have a different approach for that. So then what I'll do is get a bucket or get a spray bottle. This is about a 64-ounce spray bottle. So I'll fill this up with distilled water and put about an ounce in here. Actually a little bit less. I usually mix this up. I pre-mix this in gallons for this spray bottle. So I put about 2 ounces of O&R into that gallon jug. Only because I use this for other stuff too, other than just washing the vehicle, so I need it. I think the instructions say it's only an ounce to every 2 gallons, but I do an ounce per gallon just because of what I'm doing. And I like a little bit of extra, a little bit extra inside the water there. So what I'll do, and then for the bucket, what you'll do is I put another 2 ounces in there. So obviously 1 ounce per gallon, but I think it's out. I'm almost positive that the instructions are 1 ounce per 2 gallons. So you can do that, or you can do more. It's whatever you want to do. So what we do is you'll take your towel, you'll wring it out a bit. You still want to keep it damp, keep it dripping just a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the spray bottle, and we're going to kind of like a pre-rinse on the door panel. Now what that's doing, what O&R is supposed to do, like I said, what it does if you just fill a bucket full of tap water, it's going to start pulling all that dirt, any kind of dirt and grime that it can grab onto. It's going to start pulling it and encapsulating it and pulling it away from the panel and acting as a lubricant. So when we go to wash it, we're not going to be rubbing that dirt back into the paint and creating that micro marring. And this is how I wash. What I do is I use the palm of my hand. I'm using the edge of my palm right here. And I fold your towel. You'll get it, if you get microfiber towels, you'll get them usually 16 by 16. Fold them into 4s. And what I'll do is I'll put it like this. So now when I go to wash across that panel, I'm using this edge right here. So what's going to happen is I'll create a line of dirt. And I'll show you after every pass. It's probably not going to show up all that well, or it might. But as we get down to the bottom where there's more dirt, the lines are going to become more defined, and you're going to see them. We'll do a pass, and yeah, there was barely anything. But then what I'll do is I'll shift my hand down a little bit and move it away. So now I'm holding this up. So now I'm not dragging this line of dirt back through the paint again. So I'm minimizing my risk as much as possible. There we go. Now that pass, there's a very faint line of dirt right there. And then I'll shift my hand again. And that was awfully close. But now you can see, I can see it in the camera a bit, but you can see that second pass, third pass. Then you shift your hand again. And now you got the fourth pass. So then what I'll do, and obviously you can, if you want to be extra special careful, you can do 1, 2, and then flip it. And then go to a clean side. And like I said, this whole process, you're just trying to minimize that risk of rubbing that dirt back through the paint again. So there you got the one pass, second pass, and then the bottom edge underneath the door that I cleaned up. So then after that, you'll take a microfiber towel, and I use waffle weave towels, and just go ahead and dry the whole panel. And this is great for when you're working out in the sun, where you want to do one panel at a time, because the last thing you want to do is in the sun, especially on a black vehicle like this, you don't want to let this sit now and walk away and do the rest of the vehicle, this is going to dry, and it's going to dry with water spots on it. You're minimizing it though by using the distilled water in both the spray bottle and in the bucket. So that's the whole idea, is you're minimizing the water spots, you're minimizing the chance of scratching it, and you're keeping this paint from having to be polished every so often, if that's a concern of yours. But obviously this is a great method for washing your vehicle if you're washing it once a week, like I do with some of my customers, or every other week, or once a month, depending on how much it gets used. Like I said, you can't, you'd have to, if you've got mud caked along the bottom of this or something, it's going to have to be sprayed off first. And you're going to have to do something like a 2-bucket method where you hose it down. But what I usually like to do is, and this is probably a video for another time, but using a foam cannon and just foaming up the whole vehicle and getting a nice thick layer of soap on the vehicle, and then going over it with a microfiber Chanel wash mitt and washing down the whole vehicle that way for a more heavier soiled vehicle. So that is about it. Like I said, this is a great method. You can do it in your garage. If you got a nicer, like I said, if you got a nicer garage and you want to, be able to wash it indoors, you can do this during the winter time. I do it all the time. I have customers that they have garages that there's enough room for me to work, and that's all I need. Usually if it's 30 degrees outside, it's usually 40, 45 inside a garage. So it's a little bit colder. You can just dress a little bit warmer, but other than that, it's great. So if you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to hit me up. You can check out the website at precisionmobileautodetailing.com. You can email me at info@mobilefinish.com, or you can shoot me a text or give me a call at 716-316-7072. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I will see you on the next video.